So Francisco Lindor has really been absolute garbage so far to start his New York Mets career, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. What is wrong with Francisco Lindor right now, because he is not doing very well, to say the least. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. But before I get into this video, 75% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed, so get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like on this video. Subscribe, turn notifications, and leave a like, and let's go ahead and get into this video. Talking about Francisco Lindor, who got booed by Mets fans last night, and he said in his post-game interview that it really didn't feel right. Now, he got a massive extension from the New York Mets this offseason, $341 million, just $1 million more than Fernando Tatis. Now, before the season started, I ranked him as the 19th best player in baseball and the third best shortstop in Major League Baseball, behind Trevor Story and Fernando Tatis Jr. Francisco Lindor has been in a hitting slump for what feels like about 3 years now, even though more realistically it's about 2 years, because he was in a slump in 2020 as well with Cleveland, where he had 8 home runs, 27 RBIs, and a 258 batting average. Not a terrible season, but still. He's been walking a lot, not really striking out a lot so far. With the Mets, he's got 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and a 212 batting average. And when Steve Cohen signed Francisco Lindor to an extension, they certainly were not expecting this type of bad production. Now, yes, he is going to provide quite a bit defensively, but you just didn't sign a $341 million defensive shortstop. That's simple. I think that they are regretting more and more of giving him an extension before he proved himself, because it took all the pressure off Francisco Lindor once he did get that extension. He's locked up for the next years now, and he's getting paid that money. He can't opt out of that money. But he's getting paid that, so there's no pressure as much as there would if he was going to be a pending free agent, to where he would have had to have a good season this year, or his value would have went down tremendously compared to what it would have been but before. Now, like I said, he's going to provide a lot defensively, but this is very concerning for the Mets, because the Mets are a whole different looking team without Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor's that big bat in the middle of the Mets lineup, with players like Pete Alonso. You've obviously got Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, more players. But they've still got a solid lineup without Francisco Lindor. But Francisco Lindor is that number 3 hitter for the New York Mets, and a big power that they're relying on to be very good. Now, they're right now relying a lot on their pitching with Taquan Walker, Marcus Stroman, and obviously Jacob deGrom, who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. One of the best pitchers. He is the best pitcher in baseball. But Francisco Lindor, like I said, I thought coming into this season, 2 shortstops were better than him, in Trevor Story and Fernando Tatis. And Fernando Tatis has not been great defensively, but he's starting to get it together offensively, which maybe the defense will come with him getting it together offensively. But Francisco Lindor has done nothing but be bad this year. I understand why Mets fans would boo him, because if you just paid him that much money and all the hype that he got coming into the season expecting he was going to be good, then you were not expecting him to be this bad. Nobody was. So, going back to 2019 in a full season, 32 home runs, 74 RBIs, and 284 batting. In 2020 with Cleveland, 8 home runs, 27 RBIs, and 258 batting average. In 2021 so far, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and a 212 batting average. Now in spring training, we saw none of this. He had a 370 batting average with 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. So we saw absolutely none of this. But Lindor has not been good at all. And for this Mets team to be as successful as they were hyped up to be, Francisco Lindor is going to have to be at his best. And he's not been at his best. They're still leading the National League East right now at the time of filming this video, with a 9-9 record, just average. They're a half game ahead of the Phillies and the Braves. So the Mets have not played that great so far. They've been heavily led by their pitching so far, like I said, with Taquan Walker, Marcus Stroman, and Jacob deGrom, who all 3 are Cy Young candidates right now. The bullpen's been a little shaky, minus Miguel Castro, who's been a big surprise this season. But Francisco Lindor himself has been very, very bad for what's expected from a player like Francisco Lindor. And he's getting paid, and the Mets can't help but think that they might regret this this contract already. Now, I don't think that Francisco Lindor is going to be this bad. It's only a month through the season, but a month through the season tells a lot because he's been consistently bad for a month so far this season. And I mean, I'm not rooting for Francisco Lindor to be bad. Obviously, as a Braves fan, I want to win the division and win the World Series eventually. Um, but Francisco Lindor is not going to be this bad. But he's playing bad right now, and you've got to go off what you've seen so far. And what we've seen so far is a below average player right now. He's been a below average player. Now we all know what Francisco Lindor is. He's a great player, multiple time All Star. But I mean, it could be just kind of fitting into a new team. That could be it. Obviously, you're in a bigger market in New York compared to Cleveland, which is not the biggest market ever. So that might be a little bit of a change as well. But you've got a better baseball team around you in New York. You've got the pitching with Carlos Carrasco, who's going to be coming back. Noah Syndergaard, like I said, Jacob deGrom, Taekwon Walker, Marcus Stroman. You've got 5 really good starters in that rotation. You've also got a pretty decent bullpen when it's on task, especially with Seth Lugo and stuff. But when Mets fans are booing you, you know you're not doing very well. Mets fans are not as bad as Yankees fans with booing. I'm not trashing towards Yankees fans, but I'm just saying that they're gonna give you a little more lenience. Now, being in New York is nowhere for lenience. They're not gonna give you any kind of lenience. Yes, you had a bad start, but they're still going to be booing you, and that's the way it works in New York. And I don't think that Francisco Lindor is totally adopted to that yet. So yeah, he's a 2-time Silver Slugger, 2-time Gold Glove winner, Platinum Glove winner, 4-time All-Star. Just overall a really, really good player, but so far this season he has not been a very good player at all. So also an interesting thing is Francisco Lindor has never been booed in his career, so might have caught him off guard a little bit. And he said, and he reacted to hearing the boos, and he said it sucks is that it does not feel right. Yeah, and then he says he'll win in New York, which I think he will. He is a great baseball player, and if they can keep this current team around him, as long as they can bring back Michael Conforto, bring back Noah Syndergaard, then they're going to have a pretty good team for the future and a competitive team in the NL. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. What is wrong with Francisco Lindor? I think it's just a simple transition of teams. I think he will be back to it after he really does get into that transition of a new team in New York. Obviously, a bigger market, like I said. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, like I said, leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications because 75% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. So get your life together. Hit that subscribe button, turn notifications, and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and peace.